A jointer is supposed to make milling easy. Flatten one face, square one edge, and then you're ready to take it over to the thickness planer. But that's not always guaranteed. Some boards have grain that cooperates, and some boards have grain that tears out the second it hits the cutter head. Today, we're going to quickly go over 3 methods that have helped me get cleaner jointer cuts so that you can get back to milling. The most common problem with jointer tear out starts with grain direction. Jointers have a cutter head that spins towards the infeed table. So when we push the stock forward, you can feel the cutter head pushing back. This makes sense because if it were going the opposite direction, we'd be fighting to keep the stock from shooting forward. So the cutter head cuts in one direction, but wood fibers also have a grain direction. I have 2 pieces of stock here. In a perfect world, all the fibers would run straight and parallel to the edge. But when stock is milled, you may get grain that looks more like this, where the fibers are running at an angle. With grain angled like this, the jointer can either shave along the fibers or lift underneath them. I have 2 animations here. When you push the stock forward, you want the grain leaning toward the cutter head. That lets the knives shave along the fibers. But if the grain is leaning in the same direction the knife is cutting, this is when tear out becomes a real problem. Now, normally, if I have plenty of wood and I get a bit of tear out, I'll just reverse the stock and make another pass, which usually cleans up the previous cut. But if you've only got a slim amount of stock to work with, that creates a real dilemma. Nobody wants to pull out a microscope just to check the angle of the fibers. There's a neat little method I call the rag trick, and it gives you a quick clue about which direction the surface fibers are lying. If I attach a mic to a rag and drag it across my stock, you can hear a difference when I go one way versus the other. One direction sounds smoother, and the other catches on the fibers. Now, you don't have to buy a mic to do this. It's actually much easier to feel the difference with your hand. But to make this more practical, I've got a trick for the jointer. Let's head over there now. There. It's over there. When you get here, it can be frustrating trying to remember which way is which. But what I'm going to do is draw an arrow on my fence pointing away from the cutter head. Cutter head's over here, arrow goes this way. If that's still not enough, add R or rough behind the arrow. Before I make the cut, I set the board on the jointer the way I plan to feed it. Then I drag the rag across the board in the same direction as my arrow. If the rag catches, that tells me the board is facing the right way. If it doesn't, like this board, I flip the board around and check to see if it catches. So the first fix is really simple. Check the grain direction before the cut. And honestly, I don't even usually have a rag over here. I just use my shirt. If it catches in the direction of my arrow, I know I'm feeding the board the better way. Sometimes the rag trick doesn't work. Wood is complicated. You'll run into twists like this walnut here, reversing grain like curly, quilted, or bird's eye maple, crotch grains like this walnut, and even burls that don't want to cut cleanly. These are complicated for knives to deal with, but that doesn't mean we're completely done with the jointer. There are still a few options that can help. The simplest answer might be the obvious one. Make shallower passes. You might use a set it and forget it approach with your jointer most of the time, but this is where you really want to ease off the depth of cut. But let's put this to the test. This piece of spalta maple is perfect because it's already given me trouble in the past. If I flip this over, you can see I've got a knot right here, and on this side, I've got a problem with the grain. And under the microscope, you can see that it has a weird grain pattern that just didn't plane very well. I'm gonna set my first pass at 1/8 of an inch, which is about the maximum depth that most jointer safety manuals recommend for a single pass. Back of the microscope, you can see that I didn't do myself any favors by cutting it at 1/8 of an inch. But now let's drop it down to about a 1/64 of an inch. And I'm gonna make a couple passes instead of just doing one. And now under the microscope, there's still tear out, but it's much less defined, it's much smaller, and it's a lot less than it was before. A deep pass gives the knives more fibers to lift at once. A shallow pass takes smaller bites, which gives the cutter head a better chance to slice cleanly. And like your sample here, if it does leave damaged fibers behind, it's much easier to use a scraper or sandpaper to clean it up. Finally, improve the slice. Wood isn't cheese, but the principle is the same. A dull edge pushes and lifts materials before it cuts. A sharp edge slices it cleanly. So if your jointer knives are dull, you're obviously going to get more tear out. If you're using a helical cutter head, you're already a step ahead. I don't have a helical cutter head myself, but there is a trick for this. You can turn your stock at an angle and make a pass. Feeding the stock at a slight angle can help create more of a slicing cut. But obviously keep safety in mind. If you're flattening the face of a board, use push blocks. If you're jointing an edge upright, you still need this fence. If you're struggling with edge joining, you can either angle your fence, mine does not, or make a jig that fits over the existing one. Both angle methods work well, but it does limit the width of your jointer bed. One more thing that can help is wetting your stock with a fine mist. It can swell and soften the surface fibers, giving the knives a better chance to slice them instead of breaking them out. But don't be the guy who soaks it down and leaves it on a cast iron table. Dry the table afterwards and make sure you have some kind of rust protection on the surface. A big thank you to the patrons who help keep the website running. If you'd like to support the channel and help keep these free resources available, I'll have a link down in the description. If this helped you, maybe consider buying me a beverage. I'm gonna need one. Thank you so much, friends, and remember to keep making things